Yeah, I've never done that before. I always wanted to. I'm an adjunct professor at NYU. I have 2 appointments at CUSP, which is the School for Urban Science and Progress. I should know that better because I work there. And NYU Courant, which is like the math computer science school. And I've been interested in like sort of social issues for my whole 8-month career in academia, because I just started teaching last semester. Yeah. But yeah, so I hope to work on social issues for the entirety of my career, which is why academia is a great place for me. And I work on teen homelessness, slavery, and I also work on like measuring human emotions through text processing. So I do a bunch of stuff. But today we're going to talk about slavery and how horrible it is. Oh yes, someone in the audience asked me how to contact me. This is how you contact me. It is now being recorded for all to see. I don't care. Contact me. Yeah, so anyway, okay. All right, before I start my talk, I also want to thank some people that have helped me out a lot. Richard Federer, Lior Shaverdi, Daniel Padawar, and Julian Rabineau have all directly contributed code to one or more of my projects and have given up their nights and weekends occasionally when I've asked them to work on hackathons or small things. So thank you so much to them for all the time they've given me. And to Justin Koslin, Anthony Taylor, Zach Goldberg, and Brandon Diamond. These 4 people have also been incredibly helpful and influential in helping me just establish connections. Brandon in particular, he got me a talk at New York Tech Meetup, which was awesome. And Joel Fernandez, who was my advisor when I was at NYU and made connections to a bunch of people. So thanks to all those guys and everyone here, and to PyGotham. You are all wonderful people, and thank you for taking your Saturdays to listen to me blabber on. Okay, let's keep moving. So, slavery, right? It's over. It's done. 1800s, it was finished. We had a civil war, a bunch of people died, it sucked, like horribly sucked. And you know, it took the lives of so many people, including one of our greatest presidents, and we beat it. It's done, right? Well, unfortunately, it's not. Human trafficking is the word that we use today to describe slavery. And there's a whole bunch of resources that I'm going to mention about how you can find out more information. But basically, human trafficking is just like a more granular term for what's really going on, because it is a complex issue. And I personally researched the following areas: labor trafficking, sex trafficking, and child sex trafficking. And all of these originally just meant moving people around against their will, but now it also means containing them against their will. Yeah, you have a disgusted face because it's gross. It's the most horrible thing like possible, and I just get infuriated every day. So yeah, so strap in, you're here for this talk. We're going to be annoyed for a little bit. So here are some disturbing statistics. There are 21 million people being enslaved right now today, approximately, probably more. And that's up from just 12.3 million in 2005. So yes, if you're doing the math like I did, 75% growth in 9 years, which is horrifying. And the reason it's grown so fast is because of the rise of technology and the rise of information and the access, the ability to find these sort of things. It's created a demand and supply environment for this horrible practice. And so we as technologists have like a need. Like we have to contribute to this problem, and technology is what's helped make it grow, and technology is what's going to help kill it. So that's why I'm working on this, and as a technologist, I think I can be helpful. All right, some more statistics. Yes, this number is in millions of dollars. So that is approximately $32 billion a year that are generated in profits. This is a rough study from 2005 when there were only 12.3 million, so we can guess that the numbers are probably much higher today. It's probably something to the tune of $100 billion. Billion with a B. That's insane. This problem needs bodies, and it needs them yesterday. Actually, it needs them 9 years ago, but it needs them yesterday. So this is just happening other places, right? Industrialized countries do make up a lot of it, as we saw, the bulk of it, which is terrifying and wrong. But where are they going mostly? Well, the answer is America. Their trade routes, all of these arrows are trade routes into America from other countries. This study, I don't remember where it comes from exactly, but I have a link to it somewhere. Basically, everyone's coming here. So it's a problem that's happening today to us, probably here in New York City, almost definitely. So So it's something that we all in this room can be impactful on tomorrow. Okay, so some more facts. It's not just happening to people being moved from other countries into America, it's also happening to American children. Hooray. So there are around 100,000 kids right now that are being enslaved between the ages of 11 and 14. Can you imagine being a teenager and having to deal with this? Most of it is child sex trafficking and sex trafficking. Now, I'm not going to be depressing the whole time. I'm going to move very quickly soon to all the things that you can do to fight this and all the things people are doing to fight this and all the funding there is and all the billions of dollars people are throwing at this problem, but it's not enough. We need technologists because the social science kids, they get it, and they're working on it, but we need technologists and we need them, like a lot of them. Now, that being said, there are a ton of technologists already working on this, but we always need more. Okay, so now we're going to go over to some of the work that I've already done. And where I'm at, sort of. Let me just make sure. Yeah, okay. So that was super depressing, more depressing than I thought. I'm going to talk very briefly about some of the people that are doing things to stop this, and then I'm going to go through the work that I've personally done. So the Polaris project has been incredible about this. They set up a hotline, and the reason I bring them up first is because they have volunteering opportunities. So if you want to help, there are plenty of local opportunities to do this. We Are Thorn focuses on child sex trafficking. Hopefully going to be working with them on a project very soon, and I'm going to need collaborators for that, so if you want to help, please do so. DHS has been great about this. They have a whole task force just for this, and I've actually worked with them in the past. They're wonderful people. I also have friends over at the Google Human Trafficking People group. So the guy I mentioned, Justin Coslin, works on this, and he's wonderful. And then there are also a ton of people at State Department that are working on this. So, there are government agencies interested, and then there's a ton more agencies and nonprofits that I haven't listed, but these are all the people that I know personally, and I can speak to the quality of their work and how committed they are to this horrible thing. Okay, so let's go on to some of my slides on what I've done. Because it's not just enough that things happened, we should also talk about how to fix it. Okay, magic, press the play button. All right, so we've gone over the problem definition, and now we're going to talk about some of the tools that you can use to fight slavery. I originally did my master's and undergrad in economics thinking that this would be a really good way to fight slavery, and then I realized, nope, not useful. It's great for understanding the problem, but the more economics you do around it, the more outraged you get, but then you really can't do anything particularly about it. I mean, you can work with law enforcement, you can try to do some analysis, but you really need automated tools to do anything meaningful, which is why I decided to do computer science. And here we are. The two big things that I picked up were that when there's high amounts of migration, there tends to be high amounts of trafficking, which makes total sense. And then also, the more human trafficking there is in an area, the lower the economic productivity of the place. So, an example from America. Let's see. Actually, okay, that's not a good example. Never mind. I was going to talk about that, but that's not useful. Okay, moving on. So yeah, these are the sources that I cite for that. You can actually look into what are good examples of this there. They look at places in Europe, I think. So like Eastern European countries have high rates of trafficking and migration, and there's some other places. But anyway, that's not important. All right, so let's get started with the first tutorial. I promised I would teach you guys some stuff, so we're going to learn web scraping. Hooray! Let's not be depressing. Okay, so let me see. It's the wrong virtual machine. Okay, let me start up the other one. Doop, 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 doop. Wait, no, don't do that. Power down. That's for later. This guy. Yes, play. We're going to have fun. We're going to do a jig. Do, 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 do. Yeah, just waiting for this to happen. I was going to juggle for you guys to break the depression, but then I forgot my juggling balls at home. If anyone wants to see, oh, actually, wait, while this is booting up, I can go to YouTube. We can watch me juggle. Okay, wait, hold on. Let's see if there's, okay, this is actually taking a second. Great, there is actually time to do this. All right, let's see if do I have my juggling videos up? I think I do. think I do. Bath time, what is that? That's weird. Channels, discussion, videos. All right, let's see. Okay, this is still loading. This is still loading. We got time. We got time. Oh, it's not on here. It's not on here. All right, you get to see my secret channel. All right. Let's see if it's loading. Okay, great. It's up. So we don't have to. We won't be subjected to my horrible YouTube videos. Hooray! Oh man, someone breathed a sigh of relief. That's special. Dodged a bullet, guys. Dodged a bullet. All right, cool. So let's give you some skills. Woo! All right. Which one is first? Intro to munging. All right. So the first library we're going to look at is, I think it's requests. I have the list her. All right. Yeah. Okay. So, right. First, let me describe the workflow. So the way you tend to deal with data grabbing is you grab the data, you process it, and then you analyze it. So requests is a great library for doing this. Now we're going to look at a demo for requests. So let me pull up the requests demo, maybe. Why did that not? Oh, okay. There we go. So first I'm going to show you just a bare bones example, and then we're going to do something a little bit more involved. And I should be honest here, web scraping is mostly the stuff that I've done just because I didn't want to go too heavy on the theory or like burn you guys out, because the code can get really complex when you're looking at natural language processing or image processing, unless you're just using libraries. So let's start with requests. You can just get a web page, super easy. So let's just print out the whole web page. If anyone's not familiar with this, this is called IPython Notebook. It's amazing. Everyone should use it. I won't go into all the reasons why, because that is a talk onto itself. Oh, I'm not printing this out. Why? They're two different things. You have to install that separately. So you can apt-get it if you're using Ubuntu, like I am. I don't know what the command is for Mac, because I don't have one, unfortunately. But yeah, so this is the HTML from when you go to google.com. Hooray, we get all the text. And you can print out a whole bunch of useful stuff, like the status code. So let's say that you didn't know if a request was going to work because maybe the web page is down. Well, you just figure that out, and then 200 means okay because it's using standard HTTP protocol things, which is awesome. You can close a connection. You can look at the cookies. You can look at the headers. You can do all this stuff. It's processed really fast, as you saw, and it just works. Oh, you can also check if something's going to redirect, so if you need to know if you need to do some fancy processing, which I think is awesome. All right, so now we're going to do a slightly more involved example. All right, that was cool. We scraped a static page, whatever, no one cares. Let's log into a website that has some like things on it. So this is a sample web page that I wrote, and so it's HTTP serve. Okay. It's -m. No, it's the CGI one. I just don't remember what the exact. Yeah. Just give me 1 second. HTTP CGI Python server. Hey, look at that. Okay, yeah, it's this guy. This is the one I want. It's been like, there's a lot of prep for this. Oh, come on, where's the thing? Start from command line. Oh no! Why aren't you just giving me what I want? Oh, that helps. Maybe it's this third result. -m, yeah, it's that one. Thanks. Whoosh. Yep. Okay, so it's that, except I think it's okay. I think it's HTTP. -m http server CGI. No, it's probably CGI server, something like that. Maybe? Oh, no. It was? Yeah, right. I don't see. No, I don't see it. Oh, no. Where? Right in the middle. Oh, yes. All right. CGI HTTP server, thank you. Ah, hooray. Yeah, I haven't ran this demo in like a hot minute. All right, so localhost, and then I think it's port 8000 is where it started. Yeah, cool. 8000. All right, log in much? Yeah, I totally do. I totally log in. Oh, what's my username and password? Oh, I don't have it saved. I know what it is though, because it's admin pass. Hooray. Yeah, cheating. All right, so we submit that, and then it just logs you into a page, and that goes to Google, because whatever, we don't care, right? This is just an example thing. All right, so this is running. We all trust that it's running. So now I'm going to run the second thing. Let me just, should go. Yeah, cool. So we got back that we logged in. So now, oh, incorrect credentials. Why is that happening? All right, that didn't happen before. Okay, what's going on here? This is what I get for not trying my demos. Maybe I have to be on the page. Go. Fail. All right, it is possible. It is possible to log in with requests. I'm not sure what's wrong with this code. I'm not going to debug now. Whatever. Oh, wait. Curses. All right. I'm not sure what's going on with that. We're going to avoid that thing for the remainder of the talk. All right. It's a good question. So, all right. I can go through that then, because I can explain what the code's doing. I'm not sure why it's not working though. So, first thing that's happening is you're posting to the login page with the data. So that's this payload, which is the username and the password. Maybe I'd change this. And then I'm getting the login page that's happening after. So let me just, is it still running? It is. Okay. So we do admin pass. Then, oh, that's interesting. It does this. It's supposed to do this. Did I shut it down? I don't think I did. Maybe I did. Weird. All right. Whatever. I'm not sure why it's not working, but it goes to this page afterwards. So, yeah. That's the reason why it's getting from there. Does it make sense? Yeah, cool. All right. So I'm not sure what exactly is going on with this, but it doesn't really matter. Let's go on to something else. All right. Cool. All right. Intro to munging is done. XML. So, okay, in theory, you can scrape pages. Now let's look at something slightly more interesting. Let's go to google.com. Maybe I lost internet. No, that wouldn't matter. This is running locally. Okay. So anyway, debugging is dangerous. So now we're going to grab all the links from google.com. Let me actually print these. Boom, all the links. Hooray. So the point here is that we can grab a whole bunch of information. Maybe it'll be useful if all right, and then you can do something way more involved. So let's do something way more involved, and then this should work, because it's not reliant on me understanding how HTTP servers work. So this is a website that has some data. Now we're getting close to something that I'm actually using. Basically what I do is I go to seedy websites like Craigslist and Backpage, and I look for instances of prostitution, and then I try to determine if those instances of prostitution are actually trafficking. So that's the first use case for what I do. I try to go out on the internet and find it where it's happening. But obviously I don't want to show you any gross pictures, so we're just going to look at some data from baseball, because that's all benign and whatever. this is probably the most important line in the clean function. Just turning your text into ASCII, so this way you avoid a lot of really gross characters. If I comment this out, then this string that it would return would be much, much uglier. Then I'm just making a request. I'm using the LXML library, and then I'm using XPath, which is a wonderful little language for basically searching through text and getting the pieces that you care about. The syntax is incredibly simple. // means the tag that you want, and it'll find all the table tags, for instance, in this case. And then it'll further say, what is the class attributes it has? So you just do an @ symbol, you bracket, and then you do an @ symbol, and then what the class name actually is. So it's really high level, really simple to use. Maybe high level is not the right term there, whatever. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, and I'm going to write all of this out to a CSV. Name batting yanks, not CSV. All right, to make sure I'm not lying, let's remove batting yanks CSV, and then run the code. Bam. Should say, it says busy, it finished. Hooray. And look, batting yanks returns, and all the CSV data is there for you to process at your will. So this is an example of how Python and scrapers can be used to take unstructured data on the internet and turn it into structured data on your local machine, which is nifty and fancy and really, really helpful if you're trying to do things like, figure out where all the potential people are being trafficked on the internet today, which is something that I've been working towards being able to do. Okay, let me just remember if there's anything in here. No, there isn't. Cool. Next thing. All right, no more code for me to mess up. So went through LXML. Cool. We're going to do this a little bit later. Advanced. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is the advanced tutorial. So, all right, great. I scraped some data. Whatever. No one cares. Let's do something actually cool. Enter Selenium. So we're going to start by doing this the dumb way and looking at XRH scrape. Whoops. Why did that happen? Oh, it loaded anyway. That's weird. Go away. Yes. Go. Oh, darn it. Whatever. It loaded anyway. It just doesn't matter. Just doesn't matter. All right. So this is one of the other projects I'm working on. I'm trying to find, basically, to create a global or at least a national missing persons database. Right now, there's a bunch of these little segmented ones. So let me go to this page. That's what I was trying to find. I'll come back later for reasons. Go. Go, 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 go. Internet, why are you failing me? Okay, whatever, we're going to their homepage. Cool, so this website, why aren't you still not loading? Go faster. Whatever, this website, okay, cool, it just takes a second. Maybe it doesn't. Whatever, this website has a bunch of, whatever. This website has a bunch of, here we go. Now it works. Error. Retrieving widget. Oh no. Doesn't like Ubuntu. Okay, there we go. This website has a bunch of, basically, it's a data set. And it's made all pretty to get you all awareness-centric and caring. But for data scientists like me, and hopefully like you, this isn't really that useful. So let's try to search for a child, right? Okay, and we're just going to put in some date parameters. 3, and we'll say to the 6th. And sadly, we'll find a bunch of results, which makes everyone depressed, including myself. So this just takes a second. It does some JavaScript fanciness, and then hopefully it gives us a list of people that are missing. And these are all kids. So if we could do facial recognition against these faces, then we could probably figure out against all the instances of prostitution that are happening on the internet, and then sort of match these two, then we could figure out who's underaged, right? That would be pretty useful. So that's the project I'm working on now, actually, and we'll talk about it a little bit at the end, but not too much, because I've lost confidence in my ability to do a proper demo. Anyway, so, right, so okay, this is a hard page to scrape because it's generated dynamically and like it's still on this other main page. So let's watch the action again. For those of you who don't know, Chrome has this awesome thing that lets you see all the connections that are going across the wire as they're happening. So we're going to just punch in the same dates. If I can get there, go. So from the 3rd to the 6th, whatever. And oh look, all the networking connections happened. Now there's a specific one where this data is actually being generated, and yes, you guessed it, it's this one. And look, invalid request. Oh no, it's doing some magic and we can't figure this out. Are we lost? Are we screwed? Should we just give up? Should we go home? No, we don't go home. We never go home. Never give up, never surrender. So anyway, now what are we going to do? Well, enter Selenium. It is awesome and wonderful and amazing and makes me very happy. God, I hope this works. So anyway, Selenium. All right, cool. There's a whole bunch of imports. Basically, let's just do like a really quick example though of what Selenium like is. How do I add a field thing? I've forgotten. Is it just this button? I want a new tab thingy down here. No, I don't remember how to do it. Insert, insert. Yes, insert above. All right, so from Selenium, import WebDriver, and then you just do WebDriver.Firefox, right? If I just do this, driver equals that, and then do driver.get, and then I go to google.com or something, whatever. I bother them all the time. I don't care. All right, so if I just do what do you mean I can't use double and single strings at the same time? You're crazy and lying. No. Okay, so this takes a second, but what this is going to do is it basically acts as a headless browser. I have a pretty slide about that. No scraping tutorial. Is it here? No. Is it in here? Is it in? It's in advanced. I should probably be going off my slides rather than just writing code, but whatever. It's too late now. We're in it. What am I doing on time? 1:43. Okay. Oh no, I'm not going to get through all of this. But anyway, yes, the idea is this is a headless browser. Whoosh. So, hooray, it popped up. And I didn't do anything, I just ran this code. So now what we're going to do is we're going to search for human trafficking in an automated way. And it pops up the browser, and then it goes and it does some stuff. So now it's going to search for human trafficking. Yay. And then it's going to print out human trafficking was found. And it's the Google search. Hooray. So the point here is that with this driver, then we get a whole bunch of information about the pages. So we can actually use the driver to trick our missing children's page and get all the data that we wanted. Even though we couldn't do it in a programmatic way using requests, we can do it in a programmatic way using Selenium. So that's sort of the point. Okay. And then what's next? Right, so now I'm going to show you the missing person one, and that'll be the end of this. And then I'll probably just move on to some more high-level stuff because I'm short on time. It's too ambitious, too many demos, too many demos. All right, so I'm not going to run this code. I'm just going to let you trust that it works because whatever. The last time I ran this, I found one person. All I did was table.text. It returns the first entry in that list that we were looking at of people that were missing before. So you can trust me this works. Try it at home. I highly recommend it, but it's slow and it's buggy and it's not super pleasing to look at, but you can just trust that it works. Yeah, I do. Are they on my slides? No. I'm super vain, so my GitHub name is just my name. So if you remember who I am, then you have all of the GitHub stuff. The slides are not, but they can be. Would people like to see the rest of the slides? Yeah? All right, great. Yeah, because I totally didn't go through all of them. All right, whatever. So advanced web scraping is up there. I'll put all the slides up. I'll to do that for myself later. Yeah. All right, cool. So fine. We understand that you can grab data. Hooray! That's really cool. I don't remember what putting it all together was. Ah, yes. All right. So I'm going to show you a pseudo application, which is similar to what I was doing with grabbing instances of trafficking, except I'm not going to show you with prostitution like website pages because those images are gross and graphic, and I don't want to subject anyone to that. It's bad enough that I have to look at it for work things. So anyway, we're just going to do a quick little thing. Now, if I can just remember where I put it. Where did I put it, you? Sample web app? No. Grab analyze. All right. So I'm going to, so let me show you the code. It's use Emacs. Basically what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to go to Backpage, which is one of the websites I scrape, and then I'm going to go to their like classes page instead of their casual encounters page, and I'm going to classify things based on something obvious, English text. So how does one do that? Well, I have a file that has English in it, and then I have a file that has Spanish in it, and I use those, as my training sets. Then I set up this thing called the naive Bayesian classifier, which is wonderful and amazing. It's part of the text blob library, which sits on top of NLTK. If you guys don't know what that is, NLTK is a great library for doing data analysis and processing a whole bunch of things. They've got a bunch of machine learning techniques and a whole host of other stuff. Anyway, so it's going to classify English, it's going to classify Spanish, and then it's going to put them in these links things. So let me remove those RM English links and Spanish links. All right, so now we just have our data sets that we're going to grab against. Because we're writing to that file, I would have gotten overwritten anyway, but I want to make sure you guys know I'm not cheating. All right, so let's run it. Python, grab classify. It's going to take like a second or two. And then when this is finished, so the way this is similar is I pre-classify people as prostitutes or not prostitutes. And then I do that for about 200 records. And then this will parse the rest of them. And then I clean my data to make sure that it's actually records of that. And then within that, I look for instances of human trafficking. So that's like one of the tools I built. The classifier? Yeah, cool. So that's a great question. Yeah, we don't have much time left. So if you want to ask questions, stop me now because I'm not going to go through everything else. Yeah, there's only 10 minutes left. I'm not going to go through everything else. But let me answer that one first. So I actually have a really good example of that. Let me pull it up. It's in NLPY. So, salutations. Notebook. Salutations. Okay. So what happens is you have training sets, and they'll have a bunch of records that are of a specific type. So basically, it's just text and then a label. So the label is either greeting or parting, because here what I'm doing is I'm trying to classify someone as saying hello or goodbye. Really simple. Can people see this? Is this not big enough? Do people see it? All right, cool. And then typically you have some test data to check the accuracy. So if I run this code, does anyone want to give me a greeting or a parting thing? Yo. All right. Anyone got anything else? Later, homie. I like it. I like it. All right. So we hit that. It tells us, oh no, it doesn't classify correctly. Well, that's because the data set's not big enough. Also, none of my greetings had the word yo in it, because I'm clearly not cool at all. Oh man, how did I not think of that one? Problems. All right, so I'm not doing it now. I'm not doing it now. Okay, anyway, so yeah, if I had put yo in there, I probably would have figured it out. It figures out later correctly because I have later in there, and it figures out leaving by because I had by in my training set. So the classifier is only as smart as your data set. Basically, you're moving the logic into something that's human readable and high level and obvious, which is why I like it. Let's see if our result finished. Ah, it didn't yet. Yeah, so this is for is it a greeting or, oh, you wanted it specifically for that one. So okay, got it. Yeah, so that's the example that I'm going to show you, but then I'll talk about it now. So basically, the idea is a lot of these advertisements have text, and so I'm taking the text and then I'm running it in the training set essentially as, this text implies you're a prostitute, this text implies you're not a prostitute, right? So there's plenty of people in casual encounters that are just honestly looking to, do what normal people do, like hook up, whatever. And they're, normal people. They're not doing doing it for money or anything like that. So we obviously don't care about what they're doing, right? They go have fun. We don't care. We only care about people where it's possible that there's some money changing hands because we think that some of these people are being taken advantage of. Okay, other questions? How do you classify what? Yep. So that one is harder, but here are some of the things I came up with. One, we're using, so phone numbers are unique, right? People's names change, sometimes their pictures change, sometimes you can't even recognize them. They go through sex transmission things, transsexuals are everywhere now. And that's cool, that's fine, I have no problem with that. It just makes it really hard for me to tell if you're the same person that you used to be. That's all. So I use phone numbers as unique identifiers, and then I look how phone numbers move across sort of the country. And if they move a lot, that is an indicator to me that this person might be trafficked in the classical sense. Another one that's pretty, and so another thing you can do with that is you can actually pass off a phone number to authorities. They have a reverse lookup thing. They're hooked into the phone companies. And they can do this, and then they can figure out if they have priors, they can figure out if they're actually legitimately prostitutes or not, and they can use this information to make and infer something. So if this cell phone's registered as a burner, which most of them are, the person's name registered under it is like a dude's, then that could be an indicator that this person is not doing this, voluntarily. Other things I do. Pattern recognition based on word choice. Once you have a substantial enough set of records where you know that these are trafficking, and some of my friends do. I won't say who they are for anonymity purposes, but some of my friends do actually have records of posts that indicate actual instances of human trafficking. They use those to actually learn on the textual data. Facial recognition is a big part of this. So the missing persons list thing that I was talking about earlier. And then something else I'm doing is looking at gradient analysis. So I'm looking for bruising, I'm looking for instances of drug use. A lot of these women and a lot of these young girls are drugged against their will, and that's how they're kept in prostitution. Yeah, it's horrible. It's so terrible. And so it's just like the worst thing ever. I get angry all the time. Anyway, so that's another way that I can check for this. Okay, other questions? I've got like 5 minutes left. Yes. Yeah. So I'm using CV2, which is a Python library. I can show you the code there. Maybe virtual machine has to start. Well, I can show you the code here. So this is the library I'm using. The code doesn't work. So the VM I was going to use for this, which is part of the reason some of the code is buggy, it decided to die last night because OpenCV and Ubuntu do not play nice. It turns out, I found. But basically, this is what it looks like. I can go through and explain this too because it's pretty easy. So CV2 is a great library. If you can get it to run on your machine, it works really well on Windows and really well on Mac. Not so great on Ubuntu. Basically, what you do is you set up a cascade, which goes from I don't have any, I'm used to whiteboards. Basically, it goes from the top left-hand corner to the bottom right-hand corner of a picture, and it checks, are you a face, are you a face, are you a face, are you a face, to these little tiny sub-blocks. And the way it does it is, I don't have any chalk things. I'm not going to mess with anything. All right, but basically, yeah, well, whatever. So, faces are pre-assigned in this. Basically, this is just a whole bunch of numbers. Each of these numbers and internal nodes like is marking points that would be on like a standard human face. So essentially this XML is drawing a face for you, and then you're checking if it falls within the bounds of what a face looks like for a human face. Does that make sense? Like, kinda? All right, if you're still lost, talk to me after. I can explain it. It's hard because I'm running short on time. Anyway, back to face detect. So there's some process by which the computer checks to see if this image that it's being processed, the sub-image within an image is a face. And then I look for scaling factors. So a scaling factor just means that the face is closer or further away based on the size of the picture. So there's like some expected distance that the face exists in the picture, and if it's further back, then the scaling factor is going to be bigger. So it's going to be like 1.4 instead of 1.1. Then the minimum number of neighbors, that's just how many faces there are on the picture, and then the minimum size, how big the face is in the picture. That's it. You pass in these things to face cascade, detect multi-scale, and then you run it, and then it figures out where your faces are. And if this code worked on this VM, then I would be showing you this right now. But basically, there's like a minute left. Whatever. The code's up online. You can check it on yours. But yeah, so that's that. Let me think. How much time is left? Okay, I got time for one more question. Go. Oh, man. Oh, really wrap up now? Or? Oh, I do have time. Oh, 15 minutes left? Oh no, I thought I was over at 2, not 2:15. Oh, I can run my face detect thing then. All right, well then I'm gonna do that. You guys can see that, and then I'll take your question while this VM is starting up though, because why not? Okay, which one is this? 2. Whoa, take ownership. What is this crazy noise? Okay, that's the one. Okay, cool. So next question. You, then you, then you. Okay, cool, go.
How close to maturity are these demo scripts compared to what you might use in the field?
They're pretty close, actually. They're all taken from real subsections of things that I actually use. But the actual tools are also free and open source because it's an easy way for my partners to just sort of so some of them are federal agencies, right? They can't officially say that they're working with me because they can't. And so what happens is they just like, oh, this is just up online. Hey, buddy, I got this USB and it's got like all this data on here. Weird. And so they just take it. All right, next question.
What are your methods?
Catching anyone who is being trafficked is really all I'm looking for now. I've gotten like 3 successes, and that's been huge. I want as many as I can get. But every time I find someone, and it's not like it happens fast. It seems like I got really lucky the first time. I got really lucky the second time, and the third time like happened because I did some tuning after the second time that I learned some stuff. And then I haven't found anyone since, and it was like 4.5 months ago. So every time, it's not easy to find this. The traffickers are really good about covering their tracks and hiding. And obviously I pass it off to the appropriate, whatever, doesn't matter. Anyway, so cool. Next question, and then you. Yeah.
A lot of what you're talking about is inside of social women and regional and dating traffic. Do you analyze, I don't even really know how to talk about it, but the bias side?
Yeah, no, I do. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Do you look at instances that don't necessarily involve success rate?
Yes. So, and great questions. Awesome. You should talk to me after. So anyway, one first thing. So social profiling. There are Johns. They have message groups, which is weird. Why would you do that on the internet? But they do, and that's their thing. They can do that. So we've been socially profiling them. We've been looking for these things, and we've been trying to figure out, because they're typically regional, so we try to figure out information from these posts about the people. Are they really, really, really weird and creepy, or are they just like awkward people who don't know how to go about finding a prostitute? Some people will mention some really explicit stuff, so it's not for the light of heart. But yeah, so there definitely is stuff we're doing there. I won't go into the specific techniques just in case any of them are watching on the internet. That's cool. cool. So yeah, I don't want to give away too much on that, but there's research actively being done on it. The second question you asked was,
Oh, instances that don't.
right, okay, labor trafficking. So I'm looking into that right now. Um, it it is much harder to find because they're not explicitly like advertising. Basically, what I've done is I've come up with a set of metrics against companies that have been discovered who practice this, and then I look for unique identifiers within the sub-industry. So identifiers typically are they're a small company, they're like privately owned, they have some sort of import-export service potentially. They're recent immigrants, so they're coming from other countries, and so they have connections to other countries. They bring workers in from other countries, and then they steal their visas and put them in housing. Housing is used lightly here, yeah. So those are the metrics typically for success, or finding instances in classification. But there's a lot more work I can be doing on this. Okay, next question. Yeah. Oh, wait, yeah, you were next. Yeah, okay, whatever.
I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about some of the context of the structural and systemic issues that this fits into. You talk about partnering with law enforcement, but do you work at all with sex workers or folks that might have a different perspective on this? Do you see any danger to some of the people that you're working with that these tools might present, maybe in the application of these tools to other people?
Yeah, so the unfortunate part is the other side of this, the malicious intent is already existent on the internet. There are services that will do whole social profiles on people who are in the prostitution game. So it's already robust and it's distributed and horrible. I don't know how they get coders to work on this, honestly, but they do. So that does exist. Sorry, it's just really uncomfortable to talk about because it's really uncomfortable to think about. But anyway, back to it. Right, systemic things. I don't work directly with the people that are prostitutes just because, I don't know, I'm cloistered and an academic. I have friends that do work directly with them and they tell me the things that are going on. I don't think anyone has expressed any concerns about this, at least at the agency level or anyone specifically. A lot of these tools are being developed in-house by a lot of the other folks. So I'm more just joining an ecosystem of people that already exist. I'm not doing anything particularly novel except for the facial recognition stuff, which I'm working on now. So yeah, I would say that, I mean, I haven't thought about this question before, so maybe we should talk after I take it offline. All right, more questions, and then actually, let me do the face recognition thing because it's cool and magic, and then I'll take another question. So let me just run this. I'm proud of it because it works. All right, so we're gonna find a lot of pictures of me now. Go, you better work. You worked in the demo before when I was, oh, you jerk. All right, it's being processed. Meh. Yes! All right, so that's found my face. Hey, it found that dude's face. Oh, look, another one. That's me too. Hey, how you doing? All right. So yeah, basically what I do is I put boxes around people's faces, and then I get rid of all the other stuff that could be naked. So this way I can Mechanical Turk this, and then people can also do this sort of like, in their spare time. So it's a way that people can volunteer and help without having to see all the other stuff that's going on. Because facial recognition is really good, and that's obviously something else I'm doing. I'm cropping a lot of these faces, and then I'm comparing them against missing persons reports because a lot of the missing persons are already cropped. But yeah, I'm hoping to Mechanical Turk this sometime in the next 6 months to a year. 5 minutes? Yeah, 5 minutes. Okay, cool. So next question. Yeah.
What's your false positive rate?
Ooh, it's really low, actually. Wait, which project?
You're looking to detect someone who's being sex trafficked.
Yeah. Okay.
How many times does this pop up? Oh, this person's being trafficked and it's not.
Yeah, so prostitution has a really low false positive rate just because the language people use when they're trying to sell themselves for money is very specific and explicit. So you're able to pinpoint that pretty well. I think I have like a 96 or 97% rate. And yeah, so it's pretty high. Within the human trafficking, I'll get to you in a second. Within the human trafficking stuff, it's a little harder because I've only had 3 successes. But I'm hoping once the data set gets more robust and I find more instances of this, obviously that it dwindles. Because I know the people are out there, right? There's 100,000 confirmed cases. And that's from real literature, that's not coming from me, in America, right? So Yeah, I'm hoping to get better positives soon and get lower false positives. Okay, you're next, and then there was another person. Yeah. Yeah, so I've been thinking about that problem too, actually. Yep. Right. So there actually have been these brothels that have been busted, and they were found to have basically migrant women who were told a whole bunch of lies and were legitimately, I mean, enslaved because they were lied to and they weren't aware of what their freedoms were. They weren't aware of what they could do. There was a lot of miscommunication on purpose to trap them and sort of keep them locked in this situation. The only thing you can do there is analyze the business. You have to look at the areas. You have to look at the demographics around the surrounding area. So you look for high populations of migrant workers, and then you just literally, you go knocking on doors with law enforcement, and they do a sting, and they'll sort it out. So that's the answer there, and that's a pretty well understood solution. They've been doing this successfully for a while. Yeah. Next. Okay, you're next because you've talked already. So, but you did have a question, right? You were raising your hands. No. Okay, no. Okay, you. Okay, you're next. Sorry, I thought you were talking. Okay, go.
So obviously like the back page still broke up stuff can be described because they just give you their data, but like that photo, the underrated missing children thing that you were scraping.
Yeah.
Other data sets like that, like they're kind of legitimate. Can't you just get their data set?
I probably could. If anyone knows anyone in those organizations, I'd love an introduction.
Save yourself the time.
Yeah, I started working on missing persons like a week ago. Yeah, so I should really be clear. A lot of this research is in its infancy. There's so much that needs to be done and so much that can be done. And I am like one guy, right, working on this. And I've wanted to for basically since I was 12. That's a long story. If people are interested, you can ask me after. But I've wanted to work on this for a really long time. But I'm still getting, into the ecosystem. I've only been working on this in a real way for about 4 years, and I've only been working on it in a computational way for about 8 months. So there's a whole ton more to be done. And to your point, though, you can use YQL, which is Yahoo's query language, to directly interface with Craigslist and Backpage. They have resources to get to Craigslist, and then you just use it like an API. It's pretty nice, actually. I didn't want to demo it here because, like, as many problems as I had, I don't want to rely on anyone else's software because then that just causes all kinds of problems. But yeah, how much time do I have? Like 2 minutes, right? Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I didn't want to play with that, but YQL is great if you're interested in working in that. And they do a bunch of other services that you can't scrape because they'll rate limit you. YQL will give you interfaces to a whole bunch of websites because they have partnerships with them, and Yahoo's just awesome and open source their query language. Anyway, next question, last question, I think, for real this time. Okay. Whoa. All right. So you actually have a question now. Cool. Yeah. Yep. So you can open source. You can help on my projects. They're all open source. If you contribute to that, make it better. So I've only been coding for like 3.5 years, and my first attempt at this, which was back in December or like October. Yeah, I'm gonna get off in a sec. Back in October through December was like horrible and needs to be rewritten. I'm actually, in preparation for this talk, looked back and I was like, oh God, I can demo this. No, I can't. No, I can't. This code can never see the light of day. Why is it up online? Why is it 100,000 lines? Oh God. No, it's like 3,000, but it's terrible code. I do things like write files that actually turn into classes, and then the classes get executed to scrape websites. Yes. I'm doing horrible things. Never do this. So there's that. Actually, let me talk about volunteering because I have a whole deck on that, which I didn't get to. And then, where is it? Oh, that's the question, the real question. It's probably down here. Okay, so volunteering, hooray! So you can get involved here, and you can get involved here. And I obviously zeroed in on New York State for real reasons. Like, we're here, why not? So Polaris has a whole bunch of opportunities to get involved locally. Not just computational skills, but if you tell them you're a developer, they will want you. They will want you to help. So there's a whole bunch of volunteering opportunities there. DHS has a bunch of volunteering opportunities. If you follow me on Twitter, obviously, I follow everyone who's in the space. So all the people I'm following, half of them are human trafficking people. and then random dudes from the internet. But if I scroll down to the middle here, like, okay, whatever, we're not doing this now. But yeah, if you go to my Twitter and you look at all the people I'm following, there's a bunch of opportunities there. Tweet them, and they'll totally get back to you with opportunities. Okay, so that's my time. Thanks so much. Yeah.